What's up, guys? Coach David here with Metro Jiu-Jitsu. So we're doing another long-form content video about this time is about how soon can I compete. You know, we get a lot of guys asking. They get in, they start training, and they're like, Coach, I think I want to do a tournament. How soon can I do that? So we're going to answer that, kind of give you an overview of what to expect, what our answer is, and obviously talk to your coach. I mean, ultimately, that's going to be the short answer. Talk to your coach. He's going to know your game. She's going to know your game best. So our guideline is, right, like we don't have any set minimum training requirement to compete, but understand that you want to go out there and give it your best shot, right? I'm going to grab some energy juice here while I talk. So you're going to want to go out there and give it your best shot. Understanding at each belt level, right, what you're up against. In white belts, you can have guys who train for, usually up to 2 years, right? So if you are trying to hop into that bracket with 6 weeks of training, no wrestling, nothing else, just understand you could be going against someone who's been training for 2 years and done a lot of tournaments. We have guys, some of our blue belts, they've never competed. They're like, hey, I think I want to compete. You could be going up against guys who have trained 5 to 7 years, depending, which is kind of wild nowadays. That's a still thing, but that's a reality. So just understand that, right? But most importantly, one thing we preach is your identity is not tied up in whatever happens at that tournament, right? Nobody. I think the biggest fear, biggest mindset is what are people going to think? They're going to think I'm a loser. They're going to think whatever it is. And the higher rank you get, I think the more that fear kind of seeps in. When I had that fear and concern at white, blue, purple, brown, black, and the reality is, guys, nobody cares. Nobody cares about you. Like, it sounds kind of harsh to say it that way. Nobody cares. Like, unless they might think about it for about 5 minutes, but by dinner that same night, they're not going to think about you anymore. So go out there, go for the exposure, go to learn to perform under that stress and that pressure. That is, I passionately hate competing. I really don't like anything about it, start to finish. I don't like the tournament prep. I take that back. I do like that, but I like the tournament prep. But the diet right before, the hydration, the mental drilling, the angst before the matches, I just don't like anything about it, but I do it because of the mental benefit that comes with it, the mental strength, the performing under pressure. That helps with that. So I think that's really, that's a big thing for me personally. So how soon can you compete? Ultimately, talk to your coach, but I would say rule of thumb, rule of wrist, for those who get that, is 3 to 6 months. I mean, if you're starting to, that's going to go out there and give you your best shot. Unless you got wrestling. What up, Coach Caleb? Good to see you, homie. Unless you've got wrestling experience, right? So, then you'll probably do all right. I mean, I'm just being honest. And jiu-jitsu guys may not want to hear that, but wrestlers, these wrestlers go to their meets, it's not uncommon to go to a jiu-jitsu tournament. You pay $80, $90, $100 if you register late, and you get knocked out first round. That's not uncommon for that to happen. Wrestlers, they go to these meets, and it's rounds, man. They'll do I believe wrestling meets are their version of tournaments. They will do dozens of matches, and they're wrestling matches, and they're hard. Wrestling matches are far harder than jiu-jitsu matches. I'm just gonna say it, right? So, kind of understanding that. So that's where that guideline of 3 to 6 months, when you feel comfortable, and I would say most importantly when you've trained and prepped for it, like that's going to be crucial for that too. What can I expect at the tournament? You can expect, first and foremost, you can expect that you should have some form of a comp training going into that. You can expect that you should be training bare minimum 3 days a week, and you should be weight training in addition to that, and maybe doing some cardio in addition to that, right? So you should be training jiu-jitsu 3 to 5 days a week. You should be weight training, squat, major movements. Talk to, a trainer. I'm not really the guy, but I always think of compound movements. Any movement I'm going to simulate in the match, I'm going to want to simulate in my lifting, right? So like really big lifts, hamstring curls, chest, shoulder, a lot of shoulder work, grips, things like that. And then you can expect extreme nerves the day of. And Coach Danny Alvarez, who we're affiliated under, he is if you guys don't follow him, even if you're not part of the affiliation, he's got a YouTube. He does it's like Breakfast with Coach or Mindset with Coach or something. He's got one of the best competition mindsets that I've seen personally. So it's one of the reasons, we're really grateful and honored to be kind of affiliated under him. But more importantly, why I follow him as a as a coach, because he's got it dialed in, man. And so he talks about those nerves are good, right? Those nerves are a good thing to perform. You don't want to go into a tournament and have it just be another day. That means you're not really taking it seriously, and you're not going to perform as best you can on that. So that, I think that's important to know with that. You can also expect the day of, you get there, sign in, hey, my name's David, and then you're going to weigh in. You got to obviously make sure you make weight, and you can expect to wait for hours. It's not uncommon for tournaments to run hours behind. It's not uncommon at all. And so it's going to be a lot of hurry up and wait. You may wait for hours. Maybe they had you scheduled for 1. You'll go at 2:30 or 3, depending on the tournament. And then they'll get you your first match, and you could wait another 45 minutes, depending. Now, someone's going to get on here and be like, no, a good tournament shouldn't. I'm not talking about hypothetical, homie. I'm talking about hypothetically. You go, well, I will say to all of their cons, the IBJJF runs pretty punctually, and then when they give you a time, they're going to be within that time within 20, 30 minutes. So that's something important to kind of know, right? You can also expect probably the hardest intensity of a match ever, especially at white belt. You can expect someone to go just absolutely if they don't win that match, they are going to die. That's what you can kind of expect with the level of intensity, which is good because this shows you how to kind of control and mild somebody. What up, Devin? And so, which is good because you kind of know how to control that, and you should be able to control that level of intensity as well and performing. And I would recommend you should expect to only play your A game. Moves that you hit so often in the gym that you kind of get bored of them. That's what you should be playing in tournaments, right? Your A game is what you should be going after, unless there's a specific, maybe you're training for a much bigger tournament and Pans or Worlds, and you're just at a local and you want to kind of, test out as some new stuff, then, okay, there's always exceptions. But generally, if you want to go and do the best you can for a first-time tournament, then you should expect a very intense match. You should expect nerves. And in my experience, those go away the second, you slap up. Now it's just another match. And it's just like another match in the gym. So you can also expect, possibly, a questionable call by the referee, in which case your coach, who's at the bench, should be, calling it and vouching for you at that, pointing out if your opponent's doing anything illegal, if he's going for white belt, going for any type of, heel hooks or knee bars or anything like that, illegal moves, they should be pointing that out. He should be making sure you get awarded points that you should be. Again, it's not uncommon for them to get missed. So that's kind of in a nutshell what you should expect. Now, one thing I would heavily recommend is make up your mind. A lot of people procrastinate signing up, right? They're like, oh, I don't know, and they push it till, you ask any tournament organizer, they will see a huge surge of registrations within the last week. If you see a tournament's coming up, I'm looking at a poster in our gym right now. If you see tournaments coming up and you're like, all right, it's in January, I'm going to go sign up right now. 1, because I saved some money, but 2, I saved some money on pre-reg, but 2, I am committing to that. Committing, but now you've put that, you've made the decision to commit to that. Just like the first day when you signed up for jiu-jitsu, how long did you think about it before you finally committed and actually joined a team? And so that alone is going to be like, all right, well, we're here now. Now that's going to affect your decisions in your diet and your nutrition and the way you train and the way and it gives intention to your training. I mean, these guys, we're doing open mat right now, but these, guys and gals, I know they're each working on something specifically, and this is the lab. This is where you test those things. This is where you get to test out certain techniques, right? The time of this recording, I was testing out a certain Russian throw on my bad side. It went terribly wrong, right? I got a mild concussion as a result of it, right? So like that is about as worse, and first concussion I've gotten in 15 years, by the way. So in jiu-jitsu. So, but that's where you test it, right? Not to do things recklessly, but like let it fail. Like this is where you're supposed to fail, and nobody cares. And I tell guys that we have a running joke. I have no medals for you guys today, right? Like no matter what happens in your matches, I have no medals for the winners. So just go out, have some fun, and get into it. If you're watching this and you're like, man, this looks like, I want to compete. I'm just kind of nervous. Talk to your coach about it. Talk to your coach. Have them. They will get you, get you prepped for it. And overall, I mean, I don't even remember how I got signed up for my first tournament. I was nervous about it, certainly, but I've been competing ever since. I mean, I've been competing literally all the way white through black belt. And again, I don't enjoy it. It's not fun for me, but I enjoy the mental benefits, and it just makes a lot of other things easier, just in life. So that's kind of my 2 cents on that. If you guys have anything to add, I'd love to see any comments from any other seasoned competitors. If you guys compete a lot, I'm sure wrestlers have a huge a library of a perspective to add to this as well, just due to that. So throw that in. Coaches, anything. Let me know if I left anything out. Guys, I'm Coach David with Metro Jiu-Jitsu. As always, we'll see you on the mats.